The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Hello and welcome to the Big H Podcast. My name is Mike Hayes, and joining me today is Jeff Murphy, middle school at Hilton PE teacher, coach, proud papa. Jeff, this podcast is going to air a little bit later, but last night, Maddie Murphy was a beast on that court.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for having me. Maddie played great. The whole team played great. It seems like every single game, different players step up. Besides Mallory, of course, she's an amazing player. But then the supporting cast has been amazing all year. It's different girls in different games, and Maddie played great defense last night along with the whole team, and she had some big steals, and she didn't have any turnovers, and she really contributed very well to a great win versus a very good Penfield team. So a great team win, and your daughter's just an amazing player, and it makes every single player on that team that much better. So it's been a joy watching them play, this year and last year and during their little run there. So It's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, thank you for those nice words you said about Mallory. Also defensively, I don't want to forget about Maddie's rebounding lately. She had 8 boards yesterday, at least 8 boards, and stayed, I was watching the podcast or the broadcast today, and Sorensen made a comment. She only had 1 foul, I think, and it was, into the fourth quarter, and she was in their grill all the time, and just those lack of turnovers, and did her father proud.
Yeah, it was definitely a great game and an enjoyable moment for me as a parent. But Maddie does a lot of little things for that team. She's usually guarding their best player. So that means she's been asked to rebound a little bit more this year, and her and Mal and everyone else has done a real good job of rebounding overall, because they are a little bit undersized compared to some of the teams that they play. So Maddie's really done a nice job of filling that void. And, Mallory, it seems like she gets like 10 rebounds a game, and Ella Simonelli does a nice job, and everyone else does a nice job of boxing out. And it's just great to see them continuing to, have different people step up in different games, and that's why they're undefeated. So it's a great job by the girls and a great job by Coach Heiss.
You speak like a coach. And later on in the podcast, we're going to get into your other 2 children too.
Great.
You have some multi-talented kids there, Jeffrey.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thanks.
So today we have our day off. What'd you do on your day off? Did you just sleep in? What'd you do?
Oh, boy. There's no thing as sleeping in anymore. I caved and bought a dog. So when my kids don't wake me up, my dog does, because she has to go out so early. So no, I did not sleep in, but I got a lot done around the house. Did some laundry. Don't tell Cole, but I bought his birthday gift today. His birthday is tomorrow, Thursday, January 30th.
Nice.
So he'll be excited about that gift. And then I did some grocery shopping. So not very eventful on my day off, but I can't complain because it was still productive with shopping and laundry and all the good stuff. So
So you said you caved in and bought a dog. What breed and what's the name of the dog?
the dog's name is Chubbs. I kind of took a little heat for that because the dog is a girl.
Mhm.
And we, as a family, my kids and I have been bugging me for 5 years about getting a dog. And I said, no, no, no for so long. And I caved and bought a dog. But she's been great. Her name is Chubbs. She's an American Bulldog. She's a little over a year. Still have to crate her because she's crazy, but she has been wonderful to our family and really brings us together. So we enjoy Chubbs' company, and Lucy loves me sending, her Chubbs pictures, and because she misses her when she's at school right now. So, a good purchase. Sometimes I think to myself, what in the world? Because I'm never home. But I caved for my kids once again.
It's all right. It's a good cave, and it's another member of the family.
It is.
When I first crossed your path, it's when you took over varsity baseball coach at Hilton, and actually when you were coaching JV, and I always liked going to your games, watching how you coached, your strategy, calling pitches, your maneuvers. What year did you end up taking over varsity?
2005 took over for Coach Me, who was really, he was amazing. He, taught me so much about the game, about discipline, about practice plans, about demonstrating, techniques. He was just a great mentor for me in many ways.
Well, during my varsity career, I played for your father, who was a pretty good coach and mentor
Yes.
to me my
Yes, he
sophomore and
was.
junior year. So he was the coach prior to Coach Me. I'm sure you were a baseball family growing up. I know you had bros and stuff like that. What are some things that you learned watching your dad coach, maybe playing catch in the backyard, hitting the balls off of him?
I just learned, about the fundamentals, just doing the little things, like simply catching the ball and backing up bases, and just so many things about the game of baseball that get overlooked. But I remember going to, those varsity games, watching my dad coach, and unfortunately I would have to get the foul balls in the woods because they're in the high school,
Right.
the old varsity softball field there. But other than that, it was just, it is just inevitable that I was going to be a cadet and coach there because I felt like I was always a part of it with my dad. And, and then when I was hired by the Hilton district, I just got, I got lucky. It was right place, right time. And Coach Me, really, taught me a lot about, teaching and coaching and trying to balance everything. And obviously my dad taught me a lot as well. Because, when you're coaching, they're long days. And, some people appreciate it, some don't. It's hard, but it's also so rewarding as a coach to see, kids come together and improve and laugh. And, it's just a great opportunity. And I was lucky to be in, this Hilton school district, and was hired in the year 2000. So, my father has always been just a great role model for me, and I'm lucky.
So you were hired by the district in 2000. Did you start coaching right then in any capacity?
Yes, I was coaching. Oh boy, I was coaching, Mod A basketball, I believe, to start. Mod B baseball. for Coach Me, and they're just great levels to start out, and I learned a lot about so many different things. And I think a year later, I was coaching, one other higher level, Mod A baseball, and then JV, and learned a lot from Tom O'Sullivan and yourself when you were coaching baseball as well. And when you have a lot of different perspectives from different people, you're just constantly a sponge. You're just constantly learning stuff. You know, I'm still coaching now, and I'm still learning stuff. It's 25 years later. I'm coaching Mod B basketball, and I'm coaching my son, and it's like I'm still learning because it's kind of a different kid, but it's also, you do it for the right reasons. So, I really enjoy coaching at that level, the Mod B level, and it's just a lot of fundamentals where sometimes it's kind of a lost art these days. And I love doing it, and I will continue to do it until I retire, probably.
You mentioned, we'll get into it later, that you were a college athlete, college baseball player at, I believe, Cortland. When you came back and you started coaching at the Mod A level, was it hard going from that, high level Division III sport and then coaching a lower level?
It was. I actually I had a long-term sub position in Greece in 1998, right when I got out, and I coached JV baseball at Greece Arcadia for Chris Ruggieri, who's a great friend of
Mm-hmm.
mine, and he was another big mentor for me. Um, so I went from college to coaching that level, JV, and then I went back down in 2000. But, to me, a lot of it is the same because I was lucky to have three amazing baseball coaches growing up in my high school and college careers. And then when I went to coach the sport, I also was learning from people like Chris Ruggieri and Ori Me and my father, and, people that just give you a great perspective on the game. And I was lucky. My college coach, I went to Finger Lakes Community College for 2 years, and I played basketball and baseball there. And my baseball coach at Finger Lakes Community College was amazing. Is Robert Loudon, Coach Loudon there. He's um, just a great mentor for me. He taught me so much about the game, and I, continue to learn as well from coaching. Even if it's 12U baseball in the last couple of years, to varsity baseball for 15 years, it's still the game where you need to stress discipline and fundamentals and hustle, and base running is overlooked a lot. There's so much to the game of baseball that gets, you know, underlooked, that are very important. So, my college coach at Cortland, Steve Owens, who is now, ironically, Preston Prince's coach at Rutgers. And we, made it to the Division III World Series at Cortland. It's just a great program. And it was really good baseball for a couple years when I went there and played. And then, I learned so much from him as well. So over the years, I've been lucky to have some great people, some great role models, some great coaches, to teach me the game. And I've kind of continued that throughout my coaching career as well. So,
Well,
been
Dr.
great.
Dr. Casor will be proud of me because one of our intentional values, our cadet intentional values, is lifelong learners. So it's
Yes.
good to hear that you're doing that. If we reverse back to varsity baseball, what are some, the wins, losses, maybe some memorable games that you had? Because you guys went on great runs a couple years, at least that I remember.
Oh man, there's so many memorable wins that we had. I think about our 2008 team, with John Schwind and Jeff Allen and Brian Duffy. They're just great leaders and great seniors. They were competitors. They were good leaders. They knew the importance of chemistry and hard work. I think we're seeing all those qualities right now because all three are doing amazing. So that run was just amazing memories. I think about our senior game in 2015, I believe it was, where we played Athena and we had a walk off. You know, they tried to squeeze and with a runner on, we were up a run and Scott Eisenmenger caught the ball in the air and doubled them up, and we won 7-6 on our senior day, and we wound up being a 1 seed and beating them for the division title. That stands out. Um, there's so many positive memories from coaching. I was so lucky to have so many, great kids that worked and trusted our program and our philosophy, and had some spectacular memories over the years.
How many division titles did you win and how many sectional titles? I should have done my research.
No, I know that we won one sectional title. Should have been two. I'm not over that yet. It's 2009. But division titles, I'm not sure. I know that it was probably, if I had to guess, probably, double digits, 9, 10,
Mm-hmm.
8, 9, 10, something like that. We were also in a really tough division too, as well. My last 8 years of coaching, we played some really good teams. So it was definitely a battle every year, and we had so many great kids that worked and competed, and it was just a fun process. The thing that a lot of times gets overlooked is the coaches. When you have people like, Alex Coffey and Andy Fowler and Jeff Allen and Danny Hurlman and guys that come back and help out. It's just, Mike Vowles helped out too. It's just when you have guys that put in the time that, sometimes are not getting paid because of budget issues. You just, they sacrifice their time for your program, and that goes a long way. And we really appreciated their times too, and the time that they gave back to our program. They would come on our spring trips. Spring trips is probably the most that I missed, because you form a bond with your players, and more importantly, your players form a bond within the team and with themselves. And even Mr. D'Amico, who's our principal at Merton Williams right now, he came down to New Orleans, Louisiana one year for our spring trip, and we still kind of talk about that trip and the people that were a part of it. Kevin Wheelahan, who's now the varsity coach, would help with the spring trip sometimes, and there's a long list, and I apologize to anyone that I forgot, but it was just it was a special group of kids, and the coaching staff that put in mindless hours, for your program. um, the kids really respected it and appreciated it, and um, it was a blast.
Yeah, I think you talk about the chemistry built on those spring trips because you're not only playing with each other, you're living with each other. So you get a lot of time together on travel and whatnot. Talk a little bit about some of the players you coached that went on to play some higher level baseball.
Oh man, there's a lot. A lot of times, those types of kids, you didn't really have to teach them a lot because they knew a lot because of how much baseball they already played, and they would play a lot of travel ball growing up. Um, and but they're also the character of those kids, and it's a credit to their parents too. The Schwinns, the Eisenmengers, the Roloffs, the I can go on and on about the families, the DeVos family, the Coleman family. All these families give up, their own time for your program, and they help out with so much stuff because there's so much behind the scenes, that needs that you need as a coach, that I just want to coach baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just so many people. Ann Hurlman would watch my kids in the press box while we were playing a game, and give them like 7 blow pops, but that's okay. But those people are just it. It's just we're so grateful to have people that, we're so committed to the program and committed to our trips and just helpful, whether it be a fundraiser, whether it be, you know, helping with, concessions, or helping with food down south. You know, People like that we're so grateful to have around. And it made the experience for the kids that much better. Um, we would go everywhere. We would go to Disney, to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We would go to, Blythewood, South Carolina. We went to Memphis, Tennessee one year. I mean, we just created memories that our kids would never forget.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about. And winning, but I'm just kidding.
We'll get to that. Yeah, making memories is true. When you took over the baseball program, I remember your first program shirt, and it had PWI was on the sleeve, I believe. Explain what that acronym was, where it came from.
That acronym means play with intensity. Baseball is hard. It's a hard sport because there's a lot of standstill. It's not like a basketball, soccer, where you need to continually sprint and play hard. So playing with intensity was not just, playing hard and hustling. It was kind of always having that focus of what's the situation? Where am I going with the ball if it's hit to me? Being proactive and ready for a ball in the dirt, and taking that extra base, and being aggressive, and just in the now, and just always being alert, and playing the game the right way. I mean, that's how I was taught. Coach me and Coach Owens and Coach Loudon and my father. And, like I said, I was lucky to be taught that, and to just kind of have something where the kids can kind of feed off of, was, the whole goal. And, kids bought in. They really did. And I was lucky to have kids buying into that. Um, I'm still preaching it now, coaching basketball. to seventh and eighth graders.
You never lose it.
So,
I remember. Go ahead.
No, I just, it's, whether it's a varsity baseball for 15 years or, coaching Mod B basketball, just, it's not asking a lot. Just play hard. That's all it is. I've always been brought up as, you're kind of disrespecting the game that you're playing if you're not playing it hard. So just to try to, reiterate that and instill that into kids' mentalities was, it was our goal, and they really did a great job of that.
I also think when you have kids play with intensity, then they study with intensity, they treat their parents with intensity, so it does translate into other portions of their lives.
Most definitely.
It's funny that you mentioned about playing with intensity. I ran into Pat Mead probably 20 years ago, I think, when you were coaching, and she said she got caught in the teacher's lounge, and some new teacher made a crack at her about, why do people find baseball so interesting? It's so boring. And Pat's response was, it's a thinking man's game. Perfect response in about 5 words.
That's a great response.
And
it is. It's definitely a mental game, and you need to be confident. You need to to overcome adversity, really a lot. So talk about a quality for kids to learn too through sports, and baseball is a great way to learn that. So it's a great quote from Pat. She knows best.
The great John Wooden of UCLA said, sports doesn't build character, it reveals it.
That's for sure.
You also, as I want to get into, not a very successful baseball coach, you coached JV basketball, I believe, for a number of years, or I think maybe Made at first. Tell me a little bit about your time during that sport.
It was a lot of fun. It was pre-kids, so so I had a little bit more time. It's exhausting because you're playing weeknight games at Victor and at Fairport on a Tuesday night. But it was a lot of fun. I had a great group. Most of those kids were like my baseball kids too. So I had a good rapport with them. Coach Prince was great. He was very influential in in that position for me.
It's Will Prince, right?
No, it's Troy Prince. I was coaching with him for a couple years.
He doesn't know baseball. Sorry, Troy. Go ahead.
And and then I think Jeff Ickes filled in for 1 year maybe, where I was coaching with him JV basketball, and he was doing boys for a year before he went to the girls program. And then Coach Me was coaching, varsity, and he was just amazing. And I learned a lot from him, and a lot of great drills and a lot of great practices. And he was just amazing at productive practices. So, it was a fun time. It wasn't very long. But this was pre-kids, and then, snap of a finger, kids are here, and this is way too much. So I kind of gave up basketball for a little bit because I was still coaching baseball, and it was still a lot. But
talk a little bit about coaching those two higher level sports at the same time. You had varsity baseball and then JV basketball or baseball or JV basketball, excuse me.
Well, this is during the time where the demand of each sport was slowly increasing more and more in the off seasons. Old school, when we played, it was, kind of, all right, baseball season's up. Let's go. Let's roll.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball season's here. Let's roll. And, we turned out fine. Around 2005, when I started coaching, and it started, the off season started to become very popular, which was obviously, beneficial for kids to improve and get better for your programs. But the demand was increasing more and more and more. And to coach those two sports, I mean, you're talking, November to June, where you're locked in on, um, practices and games. And I mean, there's times where I would do open gyms on Thursday nights for baseball, and I would get to school at 7 and I would literally get home, at 10:30 because I was doing, teaching JV baseball or JV basketball practice, then an open gym, and then helping coach me, um, you know, for open gyms, and I'd get home at 10:30. Those are long days. Those are pre-kids. But it was beneficial for your kids and beneficial. I mean, I was young then, so I was able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be able to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You got a dog to
Right. I got a dog, Chubbs, to feed. But I mean, it's fun. Like I love coaching. I love coaching basketball. I love I still attend a lot of the, JV and varsity games for basketball. It's just, I'm a huge fan of the sport. I'm a huge fan of, watching kids get better and learn. And, it's been a fun ride, a really fun ride.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about your modified basketball, 7-0 right now. I recall when you took over varsity baseball, and I said, Jeff, would you come over and just, model these drills for the kids? And you came over and you said, I never want people standing around. I want stations, and I just want, continual motion for an hour and a half. And you were able to show throwing, able to show ground balls, show hitting off a tee. You not only, played with intensity, but you also coached with intensity. And I can see those 10:30 nights that you get home because you did it right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's sometimes it's hard to teach kids that nowadays. But I feel like, if they watch you and your passion for the game, I think it's contagious. I think the productive, stations and demonstrating drills goes a long way because, I think fundamentals are often overlooked in each sport, whether it be passing, dribbling, and shooting in basketball, or throwing, hitting, and catching in baseball. Those skills need to be repetitive. They need to be done the right way. And I know sometimes kids might, get sick of hearing it, but, um, right now we have some kids on the Mod B basketball team that
Yeah, go into that a little bit about.
they're great kids. We got a great group. Actually, both Mod B teams are undefeated. Both teams are doing an excellent job. Um, my big thing is defense. I think our kids play really good half court defense because we do a defensive drill every single day in practice. I know, Coach Prince does the same thing. Coach Esposito does the same thing. And it's preached a lot. If you can't defend, you're not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a great group of kids that have bought into that. They're great listeners. Great kids that come from excellent families that are supportive. Some of them I already know from, coaching the youth select team for the last 5, 6 years. Jay Nacella has done a great job of coaching those teams, and I can help out when I was able. When I wasn't, I was coaching Maddie for a few years on Mod A, and Mod B, for Dave's program. So, he's really done a nice job of teaching them the fundamentals. And, we got a good group of kids that, are coachable, that work hard, that, like you mentioned, they do a good job in the classroom as well, which is pretty relative. And, great families that support it. So we're having a great, fun year so far. So
So your son's Cole's on that team. And then you also mentioned that you did some coaching with Maddie and I don't know if you coached Lucy at all. Talk a little bit about what it is like being a father coaching a child, your own child.
I love it. I don't know if my kids love it, to be honest. Um, I think they won't appreciate it until they get a little older, maybe. Um, it's not easy. I'm a little bit more hard on, my kids, but in a good way. Like, but it's hard. But that's two things that I love. I love coaching and I love my kids. So, what can be better than that? So next time at the girls' game, you could kind of bring Cole over and just ask him, Cole, your dad doing a good job or not? I don't want to hear his answer.
Now, did your dad, Dan, coach you at all when you were growing up?
I think about that all the time, actually. And no, he didn't, because he was busy coaching, varsity baseball. And he just let, it was a different town too. We grew up in Greece. We went to Greece Athena. My dad taught in Hilton, so he was very busy. There was 6 of us, Brady Bunch family, and he was, very busy working and making money, and my mother, was the stay at home mom that was amazing, and stuff like that. So it was like he tried to get it to as many games as possible. I know basketball games, he was at a lot of the games. So, he trusted a lot of the people. That not that I don't trust a lot of the people that coach. I mean, they still have a ton of different coaches, and I think it's important that they have other coaches, because there's so many different coaches that have different strategies and that have different personalities. And I think it's important that they learn from different coaches as well. But it's been amazing coaching them, because it's two things that I just love doing, is coaching and doing it with my kids. So
You alluded to your mother, and you lost her early in life to breast cancer. Talk a little bit about her influence on you as a person.
oh geez, you're gonna get me choked up here.
That's what the
No.
podcast is.
No, I appreciate you asking it.
First of all, what was her name?
Her name was Michelle Murphy.
Okay.
She passed away of breast cancer, and this was 1988, where the research and the technology just wasn't where it is today. So unfortunately, she passed when I was 12, approximately 12, 13. And she was just an inspiration. She was that type of mom that just did everything, cooked, cleaned. I mean, there was 6 of us, and we were always, bickering and going all over the place. And she just always found a way to keep everything, comfortable, relaxed. And she just was an amazing parent, that, you know, that I think about every day.
Losing a parent like that so young, did it harden you? Like, I had to deal with this at 12 years old. I can deal with other things as I age.
Yeah, as you age, at the time, you know, you have no idea the impact it has. You know, you seem, you know, invincible anyways at age 12 and
Mm-hmm.
13. And then as you get older and you become a parent, you learn, you know, so many different skills and qualities and responsibilities that you can't even imagine of, thinking when you're younger. And I always now think about, you know, how my mom would do it, how my dad would do it. And it's not easy. But I feel like she has kind of set the tone for that as a parent. Um, and this, you know, and that was, you know, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's different, but it's also, she's taught me a lot without actually teaching me anything, if
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. Like, just by her presence and her doing so much for all of us kids, has taught me to be a good parent. At least I think I am.
Well, yeah, and I think she is with you, even though she's not with you. And I got to credit your dad. Every time I see Dan he
Yeah.
does go to baseball games, and I think you have, is Jackson Oliveira related to you?
Yes,
Okay.
he's a nephew.
And every time I see him, he always asks me about me and how my brothers and sisters. It's just very nice. And I know, like, a guy like you, like him, attracted a woman like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, you got to come from good genes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mike. You know, my dad, I think about that too, when my dad, you know, raised all six of us, and when my mom passed, and I think about, you know, sometimes when I'm doing it with three kids, you know, my dad did it with six kids,
Right.
double the amount. And my grandma, my nan, Shirley Murphy, she was amazing too. She lived right next door, which was very helpful. So she really taught me a lot too as a parent, and what she would do. And, you know, it's people like that that really, you know, set the tone for you as a parent, and, um, you know, motivate you to try to be a good parent.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, I credit my dad a lot for that.
And all those people that have gone before you are proud of what you've done and are doing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
What made you come to your decision to drop varsity baseball? Kid?
My kids.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it became, you know, a year-round thing. And I was missing, you know, my kids started to get older, and I only had a certain time frame with my kids. And during that time, I was missing it. You know, and then I kind of looked at the future, and I'm like, my two daughters can play varsity softball with each other for 3 years, maybe 4 years, and I would miss it. No way, you know? So, it got to be a lot. You know, it was a year round thing. It was kind of expected to go on a spring trip every year, and which I love doing. I miss that a ton, but, there's nothing better than, you know, watching your own kids on the same team. And it's only going to happen for so long. You know, Lucy's now in college, so, they're no longer, you know, on the same team. So I'm going to miss that this year, but at the same time, you know, I was missing a lot of their stuff, and I didn't want to miss it anymore. And I knew, the time and effort it took into coaching for years. So it was definitely hard. But no regrets, and I'm really happy that I made that decision because it's just less stress and it's more enjoyment of watching my kids play or even coaching my youngest son for baseball and basketball and stuff.
So you've been alluding to your children. Let's listen to a little bit about more. You got oldest daughter Lucy, then Maddie, and then Cole. Talk a little bit about them, their talents, because they are multi-talented, not just athletes.
Oh, thank you for that. That's nice. Um, they honestly they feed off each other. They are all competitive and they all kind of compete within each other, not just in sports, but in academics. You know, they're always talking about their GPAs and mine's higher and yours is not higher and this and that. And I think that's healthy, you know, before the bench clearing brawls with all three of them. But they, you know, Lucy has done an amazing job of, you know, being responsible and setting the tone for the other two. I don't have to worry about Lucy because she's, you know, kind of the mother hen and she keeps the other two in line. So Lucy, if you're listening to this, I need you back home because Cole and Maddie are a disaster. No, just kidding. We miss Luce. She's at school and, you know, but I credit her with a lot of the, you know, with a lot of that. She's kind of led the way in school and for sports and work ethic and high character and kindness. And she has been a blessing. So she's done great.
What school does she go to?
She goes to Messiah University. She's playing softball there and she finished her first semester and did very well academically. And now it becomes hard because the softball season just started up a week ago and she's really pumped about that. So she's also, you know, they're going to Hawaii for their spring trip. So she's excited about that coming up in early March. So she's excited and, you know, I'm looking forward to trying to get out there too and watch some games with no extra time.
In high school, what things did she participate in? Sports? Any drama or anything like that?
No, she did a lot of volunteer work. She helped mom out with theater club. She, you know, she did volleyball and she did softball. She played basketball up to, you know, sophomore year, and dad's still not over that, but it's going to be okay. But she, you know, was always productive with something, with her academics, with her friends. She's got so many different friends from different outlets, you know, whether it be high school or her travel softball team or her volleyball team or so she has just done very well with that social piece and she, you know, is just doing amazing with a lot of her organizational skills. That's one of her strengths, unlike her dad's. So you know, I commend her for that, and she's just an amazing person.
I like that phrase, mother hen.
She is.
Because I think, I don't know about you, but my family, my parents, you know, parented my oldest brother differently than they did Dave, but whatever. Then you go down to the middle one, sophomore Maddie. Talk a little bit about her.
Oh, Maddie, poor Maddie. She's the middle child. She gets left sometime. No, I'm just kidding. She, she just seeks to amaze me every year. She is just an incredible person. She, there's very few people that do three sports anymore.
Mhm.
And she continues to excel in the three sports that she plays. I mean, she's played varsity softball since she was in seventh grade. She played volleyball as a sophomore on varsity this year, and they had a great season. She was part of the sectional team last year as a freshman. And she continues to balance, the music piece as well. She is in chorus, is in jazz band. She balances both of that. I mean, I don't know how she does it, but she does it, and she does it very well. Um, she just continues to excel in a lot of things, and um, you know, I credit her, just her motivation and her drive and her determination to be successful. Um, like I mentioned earlier, I think Lucy has helped set that tone. Um, and she wants to be like Lucy. Sometimes Lucy doesn't understand that,
Mhm.
but she looks up to Lucy and she wants to, be successful in all those three things, and or really 7, 8 things. Um, and she's not just a great athlete and a good student. She's just a caring person, and she's, amazing as well.
I get to say caring person. That probably means the most
It does.
out of all those
It
qualities.
does. It does. Even when Cole probably disagrees, but he needs to learn that as well.
Yeah, talk about your youngest, Cole. The
Cole,
the thorn among two other roses.
yes, he's also amazing person. He just, um, he annoys his sisters quite a bit, but he also looks up to his sisters, and he wants to be like them as well. He has also balanced sports with, a lot of different, a lot other of his hobbies. He did theater club last year and balanced that, and he's doing jazz band this year with Mr. Weber, and has tried to balance both of those while getting good grades. And his GPA was in around a 95, I believe, in the second quarter. So he's doing a good job as well, trying to balance, you know, everything with sports and, um, with school and music and a lot of different, um, you know, hobbies that they enjoy doing. So, um, doesn't really pick up his room too much. It's a mess, but we'll let that go for now. He'll get better at it, but he does awesome.
Well, one of my best memories is when the girls made that state run last year in Troy.
Yeah.
And he was making signs, leading the cheers.
He was awesome.
He was awesome.
He was awesome. Him and my nephew Drew, my brother Ben's son, came out. My brother Ben drove to Albany for one day for that game, and that was amazing. And his son and Cole kind of teamed up on that day, and that's what I remember too. During that game, it was just amazing, and them, really being a part of it, because that was, as that was one of the best games I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an exciting time, and it was an exciting win for the girls, and um, Cole was a big part of it. So
He and his cousin were leading the cheers for Hilton. That's
they
for
were.
sure.
It was great. It was great. And he loves doing that too. He loves going. He wants to go to all the boys' games with and watch the varsity, and he was a ball boy the last couple years, with Coach Prince, and with their success last year with Brady Gehrig, and Tim Graziano, and he was the ball boy when they were in sixth grade. He always has been kind of a part of it just because, I'm either coaching or helping out or something like that. And always been part of Hilton. So it's kind of in his blood a little bit, so he really enjoys, he wants to go to the, Mod B, other Mod B team or the Mod B girls team, or, he always wants to go watch sports, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's always been a big supporter. So,
Well, I wish Lucy luck in her softball and that Hawaiian trip that you get to go to. Maddie, future in the basketball. We got some time left on that. And then, of course, her softball career. And then I think you said volleyball as well.
yes.
And then Cole, of course. And, if we make a big run there at the end, I want him there.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I want to go back to your college career. I forgot that you played 2 sports at FLCC.
Yeah.
Talk to me the time commitment and what it was like juggling both of those.
It was hard. This was what, 28 years ago, something like that, probably even more than that. We don't even have to mention that, but I don't think it's even possible to do now at a 4-year school, because of the demand of both academics, the demand with that and with both sports. I really would suggest more kids going to a 2-year school,
Mm-hmm.
financially, to save money and for that opportunity to maybe play 2 sports. Because I've had some amazing, relationships that I've developed over the years through my basketball teammates and my baseball teammates in college. We still talk to this day. So, the more the merrier. And it's just, it was definitely hard at the time, but, 2-year schools are not as high of a demand in the academic piece of it. So I was able to do it. I had 2 amazing coaches that were also very supportive, so that helped. But honestly, it taught me discipline. It taught me so much about life that I never even thought about it when I was 18, 19 years old. It taught about balance. And my kids do that now so well. They balance everything. So it's kind of, what I teach them. But, I've had some great coaches that taught me so much through the balance of both, and they were flexible, with the academic piece, and also helped me as well. So it was great. It was a ton of fun. We had some success with both teams too, as well, at Finger Lakes. 2 great coaches, 2 great programs, a lot of great teammates. I only did it 1 year, because my freshman year, I didn't think I was good enough to play basketball there. But then, just playing a lot of pickup and, getting to know the coach and the kids that were playing, we would play all the time. And, it became comfortable for me. So I played my sophomore year, and I wouldn't regret it at all. It was just a great opportunity to do both, because it's tough to do.
Were you already majoring in PE at that point?
When I first got to school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was 17, really. And I decided at the end of my freshman year to get into PE. I wanted to do something with sports. My coach, my baseball coach at Finger Lakes, Coach Loudon, got me into that field because he was such a good coach and a good mentor in that field. And it seemed like the perfect fit. So I knew Cortland had a really good PE program as well and a really good baseball team. And I was lucky to get recruited there because they were one of the top in the nation. And they, year in and year out, it's just a great program. And I got lucky and, you know, went there and it was amazing.
What position did you play in the field in baseball?
I played second base at Cortland. I played shortstop at Finger Lakes. I played both at Finger Lakes, shortstop and second. Two positions that kind of go hand in hand, and um, I love it. I wish I could still play, actually.
You play any pickup softball or anything like that, or
No,
softball?
those days are over.
Mhm.
I played, I played adult baseball for years, probably up until I was like 40. Tried the softball thing. It's just not the same.
No.
It's fun to do with friends, and I know myself and Wheels and Todd Scatia and Phil DiAugustino. We had a team for a while when we were coaching baseball. This is, then we all decided to have kids, and it just you have less time.
Sure do.
We we stopped playing, but it was a lot of fun. Good memories.
So those years at FLCC in Cortland, I know you had a really good success. Any individual accolades you got, all league or anything like that?
Finger Lakes, I made all league my second year there. First team all league my second year. So that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We just had great teams. We went to, we would beat a lot of the bigger JUCO schools like MCC and Onondaga, and we went on to the to the Junior College World Series when I was there, and that was a ton of fun as well. But we lost in the semis. But it was just a great experience. Sports has an amazing way of just developing just great relationships with people over the years. I have friends that I still talk to from Finger Lakes. Tim Graziano was one of them. His kids and my kids kind of grew up because of that. Then I have Cortland friends that were my teammates on the baseball team. They live in Fairport. We're not going to hold that against them, but they've had a ton of success with their kids. And it's just been great to have positive relationships, a lot of friends from your sports teams that you played 40 years ago. My high school basketball team, we have a group text and we text every day, and it's like 12 of us. And it's just, the majority of those kids were kids on my high school basketball team, and we still are tight as ever now, 40 years later. So it's been great.
Well, talk a little bit about that, because that was an exceptional team. You're a Greece Athena Trojan alumnus and state champion too. Talk a little bit about your success.
Oh my gosh, what great memories.
Your teammate, and I think I see a big jersey retired there on the wall as well.
Yeah. When I'm coaching now, like, I feel like the biggest thing that gets overlooked is just chemistry. Like, I feel like our team in 92, yes, we had John Wallace. That's amazing, but we were so tight. We were all unselfish. We were all competitive. We were all loyal to each other. We all just laughed all the time and had fun, but still competed at a high level and were confident. And it was never about me with anyone. and if anyone was the most unselfish, it was John.
Mhm.
Like, he was so loyal and so unselfish and such a great person that he and everyone, obviously we all looked up to him. But
He was 6'8".
right. Yeah, literally. But we also looked up to him because of his, leadership and his, not just his ability, but he got it. He led us. He trusted us. We trusted him. He's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met.
Mhm.
Like, we still,
The group text 12 of
the
you?
group text every day. Sometimes it's too much for me. I'll be honest. They have 70 texts by 11 a.m. I'm not even on a third set yet. So, but just a great group of guys that we continue to laugh with and enjoy each other's company with. And whether it's with our families, with our kids, or it's just for a 50-year-old reunion. Did I just say that? Yeah, we're 50. So, but John is, he has set that tone for all of us, like, he's so loyal. And, like a year ago, he got us Syracuse tickets for Cole's birthday for like 6 kids and him. And he did it without even thinking twice, like, that's the type of person he is. And we all kind of followed that lead and just, we had a tight bond, and we still do. And it's just kids. I honestly feel like our daughter's team is very similar.
Mhm.
Like, they have that chemistry, and they're unselfish, and they feed off each other, and it's someone different stepping up in different games, and they're competitors. And your daughter has done an amazing job of leading them and trusting them, and they trust her. And she's just been great for Maddie, and she's been great for a lot of those other younger girls that she's not just a great basketball player. She's a great leader, great person. And it reminds me of our team a lot, when we were playing, because it was a lot on, leadership, trust, chemistry, unity. Some teams are different. Teams, some kids want to get their 20-10. Basketball's a tough sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably one of the most selfish sports out there, where kids just want to get theirs, and it's hard to teach kids that chemistry piece and unselfishness, where the kids need to learn. Like our team right now on Mod B is similar. Like, they play together. They play unselfishly. They play for the team to win, not for their own accolades.
That state run, who did you guys beat in the sectional finals and then states?
We beat Fairport in the finals, but before that, we played East in the semis, and East beat us at my junior year, and that just motivated us. They took it to us pretty good. They had, holy Darrell Barley, and they had some ridiculous players. Where our senior year, same thing coming up. We're playing them in the semis. They got some guys coming back. Oh my gosh, that was the best win. We trounced them. We beat them by like 25, and we just played amazing. We played together. We played hard. It was a great win.
In the War Memorial or Blue Cross Arena?
Yeah. Both the semis and the finals were there. And then the finals, we beat Fairport, and they were, always well coached with Scott Fitch's dad there. And we wound up beating them, our senior year. And then we went to regionals. We went out to Niagara Falls and beat them, Niagara Falls, LaSalle, and that was a great game. And they had some good players, and we won by like 10. And then we went to states, and we played Ithaca, and we beat Ithaca pretty well. And then we played Liverpool and beat Liverpool. So, or maybe it was Liverpool first, then Ithaca. I don't know, a long time ago. But we just, a lot of the games, it was just, we were so deep. We had different people stepping up. We had John, that's helped, but we also had a lot of shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, a good friend of mine, Brian Pratt, who is just so smart, and he just controlled the game, and he was our point guard, and he just never tried to do too much, but always just, did the little things, rebounded, steals, assists, defense, hit the free throws late in the game, got the ball to John, got the ball to the hot hand. And, he did an amazing job. Now he's an optometrist. Don't tell him that I can't see right now, but, no, it was a great run that, we'll never forget.
So your coach there was Don Brown, and then he also coached you in baseball. Talk to me a little bit about your baseball career in high school, when you got moved up to varsity, whether it was sophomore, junior, and how you did there.
Baseball team, we were like 500. I felt like we should have been better than that, but it was hard. We play a lot of really good teams. The Webster teams were loaded back then. Fairport was always good, and I didn't play varsity until I was a junior. The teams before me, when I was a sophomore, they had a ton of talent on them, and they were very good. It's actually, like Jason Bunning's group with Dave Allen and Dave Schumacher, and like my brother's group. They were loaded with talent. They had a lot of talent. So, I played JV when I was a sophomore, which I was fine with because I played a lot. And then my junior year, then we graduated a lot of talent. So, we were a little above 500. But Coach Brown, he did a great job, teaching me the fundamentals, and, teach me about baseball. And, he was probably sick of me from November to June. But, I got to know his coaching style, and, what his expectations and stuff like that. So, it was a great experience. Played with some really good players as well. And, it was a lot of fun.
And as you said earlier, you were the Brady Bunch family, or 6 of you. Talk a little bit about your siblings and what they're up to now. Local, jobs, children. How many times over you're an uncle?
You got another hour? No, there's nothing better than family.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to think that all 6 of us are here in Rochester. That's rare. So, my brother Chris is living in Greece. He's got 2 older kids, 2 older sons that are doing great, Preston and Tyler. And they're now both in their 20s and 30s. My sister Autumn is, lives right in the Hilton school district, and her youngest son goes to UB, Josh. Jackson is playing for varsity basketball and varsity baseball too. So it's great that we get the chance to watch him, a little bit. And then my brother Ben lives in Churchville, and he's got two he's got one son, Drew, and one daughter, Emerson. And he's doing great. You probably see him up at Green Acres a lot. So, and then Heather lives in Gates, and her boys are now older and have graduated from Gates High School and played a lot of basketball and, still play a little bit. So it's good to see them a lot. And then my sister Katie lives in Greece, like right near the mall there. And she has two daughters, Riley and Skylar. Jeez, I hope I didn't mess that up. Probably did.
Yeah, you're right. I think
It's tough to keep track.
it's tough to keep track. You guys get together at Christmas time?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. It's, you've seen the movie with the Griswolds and stuff. But it's, there's nothing better than family. There's, they come and everyone's busy and they still find a way to come to my kids' games, and we try and get to their kids' games, and it's just a lot of fun. And we're lucky that everyone, is local. And now I know why my dad goes down to Florida every year. He just wants to get away from the craziness. Not to mention the great weather, but they go down. My dad and Tina go down to Clearwater area and around Christmas time to like late April, early May. So I took my kids down there a couple years ago. That was a great decision because after we were down there, I'm like, all right, now I know why you guys come down here. It's amazing. We got to do so much stuff down there, and got spoiled by Tina cooking every day, and it was a lot of fun. So great area, and there's nothing better than family.
I got a couple more questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. Do you have a favorite food to eat or make?
Oh boy. Well, I gotta say I'm definitely an improved cook from, let's say 10 years ago. I've learned that the crock pot is my friend. I've learned that you could put anything in a crock pot. And I've also learned that my sisters are amazing because they teach me a lot of what to cook in there. And an air fryer. That's clutch too.
Oh, yes.
But, it's tough because all my kids like different things. One's favorite meal is an Aldi pizza. The other one is, tacos. So it's tough. But I would probably say corned beef is my go-to. We love St. Paddy's Day, as the Irish do. And my kids actually like it. So we have it on St. Patrick's Day, and we try to do it a couple other days throughout the year. So that is my go-to. But
how about a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Well, it's got to be baseball related, right? So I'm thinking, Bull Durham, Major League. There's a lot of good classics. The Natural for my dad. Some people think that Robert Redford looks like my dad a little bit.
I could see that.
Like a little bit. So it's great baseball movies.
Any favorite TV show or binge show to watch?
Honestly, I can't get into when I don't watch TV a lot, but when I do, it's usually sports.
Okay.
College basketball, NFL. During COVID, I did get into the Ozarks. That was really cool. And then Breaking Bad was very cool. I just got in. I mean, it wasn't cool. It was kind of disturbing in a way, but it was also interesting.
You couldn't get your eyes off of it.
I mean, it was addicting. But that was during COVID when I had time to watch TV, and everyone was kind of forced to a little bit. But you know, other than that, I just watch sports and when I do get a chance.
How about a favorite quote
Oh man,
or a book to read? I don't know.
favorite quote. Like I feel like I think it was Babe Ruth. I think it doesn't matter how much talent you have, but if you don't play together in all caps together, then you're not going to win anything. And it's so true. Like you could have all the talent in the world on your team, and if you're not tight, and we talked about it earlier, and you don't have that chemistry, it's not going to happen. Very rarely is it going to happen. It builds trust. It builds positive relationships, unselfishness. The list goes on.
Couple more. Favorite thing you do to relax? Take Chubbs for a walk.
That's not relaxing. Favorite thing to relax is just sitting on my couch watching a sporting event.
Okay. Weren't you a UCLA fan? I thought I remember that.
Still am. Good memory.
Thank you.
UCLA and Syracuse.
Of course.
Love those two colleges. I think UCLA was because, my dad used to get the DNC every morning, and I think he still does somehow. And I would always read the box scores and the sports section in the morning, and it was just the easiest to read, all caps, UCLA, and I was like 6. And from then on, I just loved watching them. So over the years, this is pretty much after they won all their national championships.
But they did win another one with the O'Bannon.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
Little Tyus Edney. That was fun to watch.
Lapani, Coach Rich Lapani and I, we joke about he's a good speller. I said, well, how'd you become a good speller? I read that sports page from cover to cover.
Yeah, exactly.
How about a person from history you'd like to have dinner with, alive or deceased, and what would you ask?
Oh, man. That's a good question.
Could be family, could be historical figure.
I mean, I'm a huge Byron Scott fan.
Is he dead?
No, he's
the Laker guy?
Yeah.
How did you become that?
So my brother Ben and I, he was a Celtics fan. I was a Lakers fan.
Okay.
We used to battle over the years. I loved Magic. And I was just huge Lakers fan. And Byron Scott was kind of like a guy that I loved watching because he was just a role guy. And he was just a jump shooter, and he would always play good defense. And I kind of emulated my game after him when I was growing up, like try to become a good shooter, and I tried to become a good defender. And I just always loved watching him play because he wasn't your stereotypical Magic, Kareem, James Worthy guy. He was like, just a role guy. And I, tried to emulate his game a little bit. And I was just a huge fan. Like my basketball friends on my high school team, they used to crush me all the time about it. Like, Byron Scott, why Byron Scott?
Not Scottie Pippen or Michael Jordan.
I would love to have lunch with him and just pick his brain, because he coached for a while too. He coached the Pacers. He coached a couple other teams. But I would love to sit down with him.
Gonna let him pick up the tab?
Let's hope so, because I'm broke.
Well, 3 kids will do it to you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And a dog. Well, Jeff, I knew a lot about you, but I've learned a lot more about you than this podcast.
Yeah.
Before you leave, I got some parting gifts for you.
Yes.
You can either have this, or you can give it to your son Cole for his Chromebook. It is an official The Big H Podcast sticker. And then, now this is an XL, but Jeff can show off your pipes too.
Yes.
These are our trademark, the Big H Podcast t-shirts. So you may have that as well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Jeff, I thank you very much for joining me on Jabberin with Jeff on the Big H Podcast. I like your ideas of discipline. And I think what even came out more was chemistry on what you believe, not only in your family, but in the teams that you coach or the teams that your kids are on. Please follow me on X at MichaelHeist17 or on YouTube at the Big H Podcast or Spotify at the Big H Podcast. Jeff, take care. And thanks again for joining me.
Thanks, Mike, for having me. That was a lot of fun.
We'll see you at the gym.
Awesome.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find